Welcome, everyone, to the Feminine Outliers podcast, your dose of fun, life advice, and experiences from two African professional women living and working in the Western world. We are your hosts, Cholwe Mandona
and Zelda Wasal,
and we are excited to have you here. I am really ecstatic about this episode because it's about the holidays. It's about Christmas and the New Year and how we celebrate it. And we are in December. Yay!
Which is very exciting.
I know, it is very exciting. So it's just the end of the year. It's like we're almost there, almost to the end of 2023. So final stretch, guys. Hang in there. Hang in there. We're with you. So before we get started and go into this theme, we're going to talk about what we are and learning. I would like to get started this time around. So what am I unlearning? I am unlearning that you don't have to feel that you're working hard to see the results. And I know. I thought about it today, actually. I was like, what is my unlearning piece this week? And this is it. Like the aspect of feeling that you're working hard to get results. So I grew up, or just in general thought that if you feel that you're working hard, even let's take an example of going to the gym. If you go to the gym and let's say you're lifting weights, you might think you need to lift really heavy. And then when you lift heavy, obviously your body is working harder and you're probably sweating more. And you just feel like drained after the workout. But that's not an actual indicator that, oh, now that you've done all of that, okay, you're going to technically lose weight, or like your whole body is then going to be completely transformed. And, maybe eventually you're going to tell yourself, I'm going to stop going to the gym because I'm done. But actual, like, good, healthy physical workout, you don't actually need to be sore. Like, you don't need to be tired out from your workout. In fact, a good workout is such that you should be energized by your workout. You should feel excited about the day, about whatever next you're going to do. And there is actually a principle that I have known for a while but didn't really understand it until now. It's called the Pareto's principle. And it's basically what they call the 80-20 rule. I don't know if you've heard about it, Zell. No,
I've never heard of any. What did you say? Pareto's principle?
Yeah, the Pareto principle. I'm not sure if it's an economics term or something like that, but I like saw it somewhere in a book or online. But it's an 80-20 rule. What it basically says is that 80% of the consequences are caused by 20% of the causes. So it's only a handful of things, let's just say, or a few number of things that will cause the biggest effects. So you don't actually have to account for like every single thing. And even like, for example, with going back to like fitness in terms of trying to lose weight. So even I'm on this journey where I'm, focused on my fitness and on my health. And as soon as I removed sugary foods, to the extent that I could, like obviously I'm still eating sugary foods here and there, like a cake here, mince pies because it's Christmas here in the UK. Love some good mince pies. So even though I'm doing that, but the fact that predominantly my foods are typically whole foods and just stuff that nourishes my body. I've still lost weight. But that's only because I
Mhm.
removed sugars. And mind you, I've actually had the chance to eat like bread and these other things and sometimes unhealthy things. It's just that most of the time I'm eating whole foods, even though I do partake in like sugars. But anyway, just removing sugary foods has made me lose weight. But someone may have thought like, oh, you need to go to the gym and be in the gym for 4 hours, or like you need to be working out every day. But it's just like if you can figure out like what um what thing really is going to have the greatest effect on whatever desire you have, if you can work on that, then you're
Mhm.
way closer to your goal than you think, and you don't have to feel it. It can actually just seem very very easy. So yeah, that is that is my unlearning. Oh, and the other thing, the other very good example, which is just something that's interesting, is investing your money versus saving. Saving your money, it's just like it's your hard earned money that you work every hour. But investing is where you put your money, in an investment, whether it's the stock market, a business, whatever. And you could be asleep 8 hours, sleeping 8 hours, and your money is still growing while you're not working. So sort of same idea about, really, you can save your energy. You don't really have to work as hard to get the results you want. That's what I'm trying to say.
So basically, work smarter, not harder.
Exactly. That's the room. That is the room.
I mean,
100%.
that is that is my goal in life for everything. It's all about being efficient, getting the job done, and moving on with doing the least amount you can possibly need to do. Just by being smart
Exactly.
about it. I like that.
Yeah, no, because you
I think
know
that's a
how
goal in life we should all have.
we should. No, we really should. And the thing is that I don't know if you grew up with, I don't know if your parents or you ever heard people like a preacher or someone saying, work hard in life. You should work hard in life. You just hear the word work hard in life, work hard in life. And like, I think initially I got the concept of like, oh, whatever task you're doing, put in 100% and like maybe even more than 100% and you get the results. But then you realize and say, no, you don't necessarily need to do that if you know your goal, especially. So I think it should be a goal for everyone, not necessarily to work hard. Just work hard.
I mean, I guess the principle of working hard is very important. I don't mind them saying work hard, work hard. But I think they should also expound on it on, yeah, work hard, but also work smart. Because just
Mm,
working hard, if you can do something and expend a less amount of energy, I mean, why not? Because that gives you more energy, more time to do other things, and you can also work hard. So I guess work diligently on something.
mm,
But working hard is, I think it's a good principle in life in general. But it's just like a canvas. There's so much more to the canvas that you need to now consider. Fine, work hard. What does that mean? What does that look like? Just working
mm,
hard and putting in all the hours when you don't need to. I mean, again, that's why for me it goes back to being smart and being the most efficient.
mm.
Because those are the
Yeah.
people who you can see someone doing the less amount of stuff and still reaping a lot more benefits. And it makes you realize that, as you said, you don't necessarily have to work hard to see results. But
Yeah,
if you work
yeah,
smart,
exactly.
you can see results with most likely not working as hard as you as technically supposed to work. So
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Don't you have you dealt with whether it's colleagues or friends who don't like, for example, delegating work, or they want to do everything themselves. And then sometimes like especially let's say in the work culture, when they see that you somehow don't seem stressed, everything seems to be okay, they almost surprised, like, why aren't you stressed? But then it could be that you just, delegated your tasks in such a way that, someone else is helping you out, you're collaborating, and you're not feeling that burden. Like, it is
Mm-hmm.
obviously still a burden, but you're not feeling it. And it's just like, well, that, because that's another thing, working smarter is understanding like who's better at the job and just allowing people to shine in what they're good at while you do what you're good
Mm-hmm.
at. But sometimes you find coworkers that want to take on the burden completely by themselves, and then come, at the end of the day, come to you and say, I am so exhausted, I'm so tired, this work is just too much. Like, I don't know how everybody's doing it. How are people going home and things like that?
I think there are people like that in life, in all different spheres of life. Um, there's always people like that, and I guess it just depends on you can definitely say, I mean, they're not being as smart when it comes to delegating tasks and stuff like that. But it also depends on, I guess, what's their reason for not delegating things. For
Mm,
example, I'm at a stage in which I don't want to work with teaching residents right now.
mm,
Working with them makes your life easier because they actually do a lot of stuff that you don't have to do by yourself. But I also realize I'm not really at a point in which I can really sit down and teach people as much. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do the work by myself for now.
mm,
But I guess it's all about figuring out, but if you're just being stubborn and you refuse to delegate and it's working against you, I mean, it's nothing much. I don't know. I look at those people and I'm like, well, to each their own. Because if
yeah.
it's for me, I don't know. For me personally, I'm always going to try and choose the option that is the most efficient and with me doing the least amount of work. If I can get the same results as if I was working as so hard,
Yeah.
but working a fraction of that, a fraction of the amount I'd have to work, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely doing it. Like,
Yeah.
there's no amount of pride or anything. I'm just like, nope, I'm going to
Yeah.
do it for sure.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah, there are colleagues like that in every single, like, there's people like that in every sphere of life. And
yeah.
I know I definitely was once like that at some
I
point
was.
before I
Yeah.
realized, wait a minute, these are being like work smarter. And then I'm like, yeah, no, 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 I'm not doing this. I'm not going to do things like this.
Exactly. Yeah. I was like that as well until I realized it's like you have to be strategic and understand what resources you
Exactly.
have at hand. Yeah. Yeah. Well.
Oh, exactly. That's where knowledge comes in, like actually knowing these things, asking around, seeing
Mhm.
how those people who are being efficient are doing stuff. And then you realize, they're not necessarily putting in more hours than I am, but they're just being smart about the hours they're actually putting in.
Mhm.
And it's so mind
Exactly.
blowing. I mean, I find it so mind blowing when you find these tricks and these little, ways of going about doing things that make your life easier. Sometimes you literally look at it and you're like, what have I been doing this whole entire time? And I discover new things every day, whether it's technology wise. I
Mhm.
realize, wait a minute, why have I been doing this when I can use this shortcut?
Mm.
Um, whether it's, you know, cleaning the house, there are like different hacks you can use for cleaning that make your life easier, be it driving, whatever. There's so many different things in life in which you realize that you can actually be smarter about it and put in less work. But
Mhm.
sometimes it takes you actually seeking out those answers and seeking out the knowledge to actually figure that out. Because it might not naturally come to you. You might not actually think that there's an easier way to do this.
Exactly.
But honestly, just searching it, it's so it's so helpful. Like when you figure out how to do those things, because again,
Mm.
efficiency. I'm all about
Right.
efficiency.
No, that's very
uh,
true. And it does require you to search it, right? And last in one of in our other episodes we're talking about YouTube University. So now that we have YouTube University, for example, if you're stuck or you're wondering like how would someone do this, um, then you have the resource right there. So yes, their
Hmm.
strategies, it's actually called strategy, right? And I think it's a skill that we probably have to develop, or if you don't have it or it doesn't come natural to you, um, then
Right.
it's something you can actually develop.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
yeah.
So I'm gonna move on to my unlearning piece before we're 15 minutes in. So
Wow, these
I'm
unlearning
like,
pieces are getting longer each episode. Like, okay, yes, please. What are you unlearning?
so this week I'm unlearning the need to kind of correct someone or stop them when speaking when I don't agree with something they're saying, or when I feel like something they're saying is unnecessary because it does not apply to me and maybe they don't realize it.
Mm.
Um,
Ooh,
I know it's a really deep one, but sometimes,
yeah.
if someone is telling you something and you're like, they don't realize that you really have the answers or that you really know what they're talking about, and you just want to shut them up because it's like, you don't want to shut them up in a bad way, but like it's like, I already know this, and like, no, 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 you don't want to listen to this. Or if someone is telling you something you don't agree with, and you want to like really shut it down, or like you just want to speak up and be like, no, no, no. But sometimes
Mm.
it's just keeping quiet and just let them speak their piece. It doesn't do any harm. Like someone says something, that's fine. Like you don't have to follow their advice if they're giving you advice on something, or if you feel like it's something you already know and stuff. You don't have to like kind of tell them, oh no, I already know this and stuff. To let them speak their piece. It doesn't take away from you whatever you already know. And also, you never know if they're
Mm.
going to tell you something. Because I feel like if you do that, for example, I do that sometimes with my parents.
Yeah.
um Sometimes I'm like, they don't realize, oh, I already know what you're talking about, or I already researched into this and that, but I just let them talk because I'm like, it's fine. I mean, it's just, it might be taking a few minutes of my time, but it's fine. Like, it isn't hard to hear it again, even if I feel like in my head I'm like, I already know this.
Mm-hmm.
And you also, if you do that, you'll discourage people from actually giving you any advice, which can end up
Exactly.
being detrimental in the future, simply because
Right.
there might be something now you totally don't know and they know,
Mm-hmm.
and they could really give you good advice. So sometimes it's like, just keep quiet, listen, and then if it's something you don't agree with, you don't have to argue with someone all the
Mm-hmm.
time. Like sometimes just keeping quiet, sometimes silence is golden. And it's
Mm.
just words. You don't have to act on the words. I think just knowing that is very it really grounds me, because it's like, someone speaking something, okay, fine. Just because they tell you that you need to, for example, if someone tells me that I need to exercise 2 hours every day in order to be healthy, and let's say I don't agree with that, I don't
Mm.
necessarily have to go on an all out, I don't know, uh, not assault, but like an all out argument against that and be
Yeah.
like, no, this is wrong and stuff like that. I mean, sometimes just let them speak their piece, but you
Mm-hmm.
don't have to do it. In the end, you're gonna keep to your schedule, and you know that that's not something that's valid for you, and it's
Mm-hmm.
fine. Just move on. It's
Yeah.
okay, because in this world, I'm realizing you can't control everything that people tell you, and
Exactly.
so sometimes it's like, it's okay. Let someone say something. It doesn't have to
Yeah.
mean anything. Like you give words meaning based off how you react to them. And yes, there's certain things that can be harmful or
Mm-hmm.
downright mean. And I'm not necessarily talking about some of these things. I know this is you can go much deeper into this, but in general, you just don't have to respond to all that. Just let someone speak their word, let someone speak their piece. Maybe if you feel like you can have an intelligent conversation about it, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't always have to have a comeback or talk about it. Yeah.
Wow. I really like that, Zell. That is like maturity on steroids. like
I'm
emotional
trying.
maturity. You're doing
I'm
good.
trying.
You are really doing good. Because I was like, yeah, that's emotional maturity on steroids. It's like someone is talking and, not having to react to it, right? Like to actually decide, like to be response able, like to be responsible of like how you feel in that moment and what you're like
Hmm.
deciding to do. Um, because I think it's very natural to like want to react or be on an impulse to be like, well, yeah, no, that's not right. I got you, or like, that, and I wonder if it's something that is associated with I want to say type A people or like smart people. I say that because I'm in that group where I'm connecting dots really quickly, and I guess it's part of my job
Hmm.
to solve problems. So for me, I feel like I want to save energy in my thinking. So my thinking is geared towards solving a problem. So if someone is bringing me information that I already have and the dots are already connected, in my atmosphere, it's like, no, that registered, like done. Like you don't need to tell me that again.
Hmm.
And it is somehow I find it very like yeah, I want to tell them to stop, like just right, like
Hmm.
stop, like I don't need this it's not new information. um but as you are saying, one thing I've realized is that it builds relationship though, because it that person is talking, they feel like they're being heard and you're listening. And I think you have to genuinely listen in a way, not in a way that's like, okay, I'm thinking about what I'm going to eat for dinner while this person is talking, because I think they'll sense that. But I think it builds relationship. And I like what you said about you don't know what you might learn from them or what they will say next.
Hmm.
Because I've found myself in a situation where I think I know what they're going to say, and then I ask them to say, "Oh, why do you say that?" And then they give me a whole different perception of the thing that I'm looking at, and I was like, "Wow, I
Hmm.
didn't expect you to say that, but that's really cool that you like are looking at it from this other angle." So even though it's the same thing, but the person has a different way of looking at it. Um,
Hmm.
and so it's so funny because that's why even sometimes with I don't know if are you good with small talk? Do you like small talk? Do,
I think I'm not good at small talk. It depends on what we small talk about.
okay.
if,
No.
if it happens to be something that I'm interested in, then I can find a small talk. But if there's nothing like that I'm interested in, then I really struggle with small talk. Really.
Okay. Yeah, because small talk, even for me, it's like if someone is giving me information that doesn't help me connect to a problem, like something that is of what I think is of value, I tend to think
Hmm.
like this information is unnecessary. What are we doing here? Like we're wasting breath, oxygen, like there's so much going on in the world. We still haven't yet solved cancer. There's just so much. Why are we having this conversation?
I
Um
think it's because you're too practical. Like it's sounding just like me, in which you're thinking logically, and your mind is just like, okay, this makes no sense. I think that's my problem with small talk. I don't know, I'm actually surprised you have that issue because, um, I mean, I'm surprised that I'm not surprised. I'm
mm,
not surprised because I can see the logical aspect of you. I'm
mhm.
surprised because you're an extrovert. Because usually it's
Yeah.
introverts who are just like, I don't have time for this, or what is the point of this small talk? Like, is it getting somewhere? Is it not getting somewhere? Is it just wasting my time?
Mm, yeah.
But I totally see what you're
Mm.
saying because it's like you have to. It's like, is it making sense? What is the purpose of this?
Exactly. Like, what is the purpose? No, so the extroversion does come in depending on the energy of the person. So if the person comes in with this like high energy, like positive high energy, so
Mm.
even if they're talking about birds flying in the sky, I would be like, oh wow, I'm responding to that energy. So then I will keep that conversation going. Um, but in the grand scheme of things, at the end of the day, I'll be like, huh, okay, that was an interesting conversation, but not necessary. Because the engineering in me comes in and is like, yeah. But then I have realized though that what has happened to me is that someone like that, I'm trying to think of an example to give, but I know it has happened to me where that person comes back and was like, "Hey, Cholwe, I enjoyed our conversation," and they feel this connection with me, or they feel like they know me more, or at least they feel like they were heard and listened to. So, and I still feel good about that. So there's a sincerity when I do listen, because I feel like people will sense
Mm-hmm.
an energy of like, you're not listening to me. But I really like that unlearning though. Like, I will practice it actually. I will listen. I will like comfortably listen and see what happens. And maybe we can report back on some of these unlearning, like how it's changing our lives.
It takes a lot of restraint sometimes, particularly if your mind is like, this is nonsense. Why are you listening to this? But then in your head, you have to restrain yourself and be like, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
Just listen and be
I know.
nice.
I think that's the next time I'll be telling my mind, you're loved. You're loved. This is just a moment. This is just, don't mind this. Just relax. Yeah. Oh, no, good. Good stuff. I really like that. Okay. So, you see, our unlearning segments are getting really good and long and helpful, but it's all for the love. It's all for the love. All right. So now to the theme of the podcast for this week: Christmas traditions. And also New Year. I want to say New Year celebrations. It's just that time of the year that, for a lot of people, I don't know, obviously we're all doing different things, but during this time, people are probably going to wind down. Depending on what kind of work you do, you might wind down with work, and take time off, particularly during the time of like Christmas, which is December 25th. Um, and then there's also the New
Mm-hmm.
Year celebration that comes a week later. Um, and it might not be the case, but usually I feel like the world at large tends to pause or slow down just a little bit during it's the end of the year as well. So there's a lot that's going on. So I thought it would make sense to share, what our traditions are currently, or what they used to be, growing up, and just how we
Yeah.
view, yeah, how we view this time in the year. And so, Zell, when I bring up Christmas and New Year, what does it make you think of? Um, I don't know. It could be now. It could be when you were younger. Um, yeah.
So in typical Zelda fashion, I always start with the background. So when I was
I
younger,
love it. Let's do it.
um, so growing up, my fondest memories of Christmas is so a couple of things. One, Christmas is always the time when we'd get to bake Christmas cookies. Like me and my
Ooh,
sisters would each bake different types of cookies. So it used to be my funnest. I used to love this because my mom would like we chose the recipes we wanted to choose, and actually most of the time in the year we would bake the exact same cookies. Like every year we'd bake the exact same. I would stay with, I think mine were like orange something cookies, and I don't remember what my other two sisters are. Well, my younger sister was kind of too young, so she didn't really have her own cookie. But
oh,
me and my older
cute.
sister did have cookies would actually bake around Christmas. So I used to love that because I used to find it so much fun. I got to bake Christmas cookies, and that was something I always looked forward to. Another thing I always looked forward to was the Christmas tree, because we would
Oh
always
yeah,
have a Christmas tree set up
that's
at home.
true.
So I'd always love it when my mom gets the Christmas tree out of the storage, and then it's time to like put up the Christmas tree and then decorate the Christmas tree. I loved it because in my head I was like, this is so much
Yeah.
fun. And then now you start, it means we're gonna start listening to Christmas music. And I started to enjoy, like, I used to love Christmas music as well. It's just the whole festivity because Christmas time is a time when you would see a lot of family members because it's Christmas, so family members would usually congregate. There's a lot of parties. So it was just a fun season overall, and usually a lot of people are not working. So and then you're
Mm,
off of school, so I used to just enjoy the whole thing. Um, and usually for most of a good chunk of our Christmases, we would
mm-hmm.
actually go to um like a resort, would go to an all-inclusive resort on the beach in Mombasa, and
Ooh.
would stay there for a lot of most of our Christmases would have a stay in the all-inclusive resort. We'd mostly stay in Sun and Sand in Mombasa. Oh, I miss it so much. Like it used to be all you can eat. The pools were amazing. Like they were like 5, 6 big pools in the hotel. And you know that I
Mm,
love swimming. Like swimming is
yeah.
my thing. Like I just would remember every time it's like around Christmas we'd drive there, and I used to like spend the whole entire day in the pool. And honestly, shout out to my parents for honestly being there watching us when we were in the pool the whole day, particularly me. Like the moment
Oh,
we get to the hotel, I would literally put on my my swimming suit and
yeah.
I'll be like, pool. And
Oh, so
the only time I get out of the
cute.
pool is if I needed to pee, if I needed to eat, then I go back to the pool. And then literally what would happen is dinner time, I'd be so exhausted that sometimes I'd remember my dad would just carry me back to the room because I was so
Yeah.
tired because I swam the
Oh.
whole day. And I don't, I think when you think back to it, you realize how much work it must have been. I don't understand how going on vacation with kids is a vacation because
Right. Yep.
like or either my mom or my dad had to watch us. Like I
Mm.
am there in the pool all day. So one of
Oh.
them has to be there, like
Yeah.
it's like watching us. Like my mom's version would be she just wanted to go and take a nap. So if she was the one who was watching us, she'd take a nap on one of the cabanas by the pool while
Uh-huh.
we are swimming because she knew we knew how to swim at that time. I mean, that's actually where I learned how to swim. My dad taught me how to swim when we'd go for these trips. And then, of course, I'd do
Yeah.
swimming classes in school, but that's initially how I learned how to swim. My dad was like, I'm
Yeah.
going to teach you how to swim in the hotels in Mombasa. So
Yeah.
I used to love that. I used to have so much fun. Like we used to do that a lot of the Christmases. We would go there. And it's funny because I also remember getting there, we would drive there. And this was a time
Mm-hmm.
period when the roads were still not good. Um, they now have like a train system that goes straight from like Nairobi to Mombasa, and it takes like 6 hours. But driving
Okay.
could take like anywhere from like 10 hours plus. And I remember we would go with our Toyota Camry, and the Camry would usually overheat. And so we'd have to stop on the side of the road, pour water into like is it the bonnet of the car? And then
Yeah.
continue with the car.
Yeah.
I just remember some of those memories when we were young.
Family
But
trips.
it used to be so fun. And then one thing we would always do if we happen to be in the resorts when it's Christmas Day, my parents always wanted us to go to church on Christmas Day.
Mm.
So we
Yep.
would find if we're not in Nairobi City, we would probably still go to a church somewhere in Mombasa, like for the Christmas
Mm-hmm.
service. That was
Yeah.
like a thing.
Ah, yep.
So that was like my a lot of my Christmas memories. That and just
Ooh.
meeting family members. Because like some of my family members, for example, stay in Uganda, and so they'd come to Kenya for like Christmas, and then the parties and the food and these sessions. It used to be so much fun, you know. I used to
Mm-hmm.
enjoy seeing everyone during these Christmas sessions. So
Mm,
that was like what I would say when I think about Christmas. I would think about that a lot.
yeah.
Of course, being Christian, my parents, you know, would always remind us the reason for the season is Jesus. And you
Yep.
get that in when you go to church. They're like, remember, this is why Christmas is about celebrating Jesus' birth. And
Mm-hmm.
so you know, you sing the Christmas carols and things like that. Um,
Right. Yeah. Did you ever
Another memory.
I was gonna
Go
ask,
ahead.
did you ever participate in plays, like Christmas plays when you were
Yeah,
younger?
sometimes. Yeah, sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And another memory you would have is like just meeting with some of the like my parents were part of a couples Bible study in church. And so we were really close as of there were six families or six couples and they each had kids. So we'd always do a trip at least once a year.
Mm.
And so sometimes it was Christmas. So it'd just be fun when you're hanging out together wherever we go and you just celebrate and have fun. Um, that was
Yeah.
Christmas for me. Like Christmas was always a really fun season. And yeah, I mean, in Kenya, Christmas tends to be very, it wasn't as, I think now it's a little bit more commercialized,
Mm.
but it was still commercialized back then. You still had the whole Santa Claus thing. Like you'd have a Santa Claus in the mall who's taking pictures with the kids. And I'm pretty sure that's an American thing that was adopted or a Western thing that
Mm-hmm.
was adopted in Kenya. So you still have that whole entire thing, like Santa Claus and um,
Mm-hmm.
everything like
Yeah.
that. But I think for there was something more so in the malls and stuff. But I still like, yeah, Christmas carols, watching Christmas movies. I still love doing that. Yeah, that
Mm.
was Christmas for me. New Year's. I don't know. Do you want me to talk about New Year's, or do you want to go to talk? Do you want to talk about Christmas first?
I was gonna just respond to that.
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
No, I was just kind of thinking. I'm imagining like little Zell wanting to go in the pool, being like, "Time for the pool!" Like I don't know, like it sounds so
If you
cute.
know if any, you know, if you know me now, still, you know, I still love the water. Like
I
if I go
know.
to a resort,
Yeah.
I will be in the pool. There are people who will just sit outside. That's why I remember when I told you I don't understand. Okay, this is a topic for another day, but I don't understand why weaves will hold black women back from entering the pool. For me, I'll be like, I will
Oh yeah.
enter that pool with my weave and I will swim because I love swimming that much.
Oh
And this is where
wow.
it stems from.
Yeah. Oh, that's so okay. Now I know that it's definitely a childhood thing. Like your love for water, your love for swimming. I'm learning as
Hmm.
well. That makes so much sense. Um, and in terms of the Christmas traditions, my experience, my childhood experience is similar or was similar to yours in that the idea of going to church on Christmas Day, no matter whatever is going on, whether there was going to be a party later in the day. I remember, I think it was a morning service. I don't remember, maybe even evening, but there was definitely the element of going to church and knowing that Christmas is about Jesus being born.
Hmm.
So it wasn't, I think, comparing it to the way it's celebrated here, the idea of being a kid and you're like, oh, I'm going to receive gifts. There was no gift given per se. Um, it was like, okay, you're going to go to church, and then family would come over. My parents did host a few times. I'm trying to remember how often, but it would involve having family around, extended family sometimes, and there
Hmm.
would be lots of food, lots of drinks as well. So just this like moment where we're all coming together and just enjoying. And we would have this. because the weather is also good for it. Like we would have braais. For those that don't
Mm,
know, a braai is a barbecue pretty much. So we would have these
okay.
barbecues um, just outside, and people are seated outside, and everyone is just conversing, chatting, and blah blah blah. So it was fun. I do remember the setting up the Christmas tree. That was really fun. That maybe the difference is that here I've noticed that people do go out to buy a live, like a living tree.
Mm,
Not all the time, but I've seen that people, it's a tradition sometimes that the whole family will go to wherever they're selling like the live trees or the real trees, and then bring them back to the home and set it up. But ours was plastic. It
us
was
too.
it was, you just
But
go
it
to the
looked like a
shop.
real tree.
It
It looked
did.
like a real tree though.
It did look like a real tree. It did. Like I didn't even care about whether it was like a living tree or not. It was like, I think it was the idea of putting all the decorations and then putting the lights around it and then turning on
Mm-hmm.
the lights. And then you put the star at the top. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, no, that was, yeah, no, it was, oh, good memories. Now you're making me also think about, and now I'm being nostalgic um about it.
Right?
I know, right? Did you have gifts under the tree? What was the concept like for gift giving?
So my parents would usually have gifts for us kids. Um,
Oh.
I guess we used to look forward to them because they'd be like, "Oh, what did I get for Christmas?" I don't think it happened every Christmas.
Mm.
Um, I don't recall that that well, but I do recall some Christmases having gifts under the tree from our parents to us. Um, every now
Mhm.
and then. So yeah, but I don't remember much about it. So clearly, it wasn't a big important event or thing in my life at the time.
Yeah, that was. And what kind of you mentioned foods, and I was just thinking through like the kinds of foods. I remember the foods we would have would be like potato salad, there would be like chicken, beef, rice, stew. Would they was there something, how about you? Was there something particular that you had during that time?
Hmm. I don't remember there being anything particular we had. Like we would just have a lot of everything. Like I think
Mm,
sometimes in which when you have these events, when you have other events, like you cook certain dishes, so now there'll just be a lot of variety. Um,
mm,
I do know because I did not grow up. I didn't grow up in a poor family, so some of these dishes were like would have them other days as well. But I know there are some people who, like, would tell you in Kenya, for example, chapati would be something that's considered delicacy sometimes in some families, particularly in the
mm,
less fortunate families. So that
mm,
they like have it like on special occasions like Christmas. Um,
mm,
I didn't have that. For us, we would have it like almost every week or almost something like that. But
mm-hmm,
I just remember there used to be a variety of food.
mm-hmm.
And my mom is a
Oh,
good cook, so she'd cook a lot of different stuff. And I used to really enjoy it. Like
mm.
all the different varieties, and my mom's fruit punch, or I miss the fruit punch, and,
Ooh.
and things like that. So this used to be a lot of foods. Nothing in particular. I don't remember there being a particular food we have as Kenyans for Christmas.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
But
same,
I know
same
like a
as
lot of the
well.
men would also barbecue. Ooh, a lot of the men would also barbecue. Like we call it nyama choma. Basically nyama is
Oh,
meat, choma is
yeah,
burn. So
yeah.
nyama choma. And like they'd make it, and like when you go for family functions, the men are out there grilling and barbecuing the meat, and it used to be so good. It could be like any kind of meat, like beef, goat, chicken, pork, like whatever type of meat. Oh, I actually really do miss that. But yeah.
Ah, yeah. I did actually. I think I ate nyama choma in Rwanda when I was in Rwanda. I don't know if they call it
Mm,
nyama choma, but I know exactly what you're talking about. Delicious.
mm-hmm.
We need to talk more about that on our next food episode. Um, oh no, that's really cool. So now that we are here and by here I mean US, UK, do you feel
Mm-hmm.
that your Christmas celebration has changed, or are you trying to keep the traditions of your childhood?
So a lot has changed because, as for one, I'm in a different continent. And where I am, for example, right now, um, actually, for all the time, my time I've been here, except for when I was in Texas,
Mm.
um, it's snowy. It's like a white winter. Um, that's different
That's
because
different. Yep, that's
I'm
true.
I'm not used to a white Christmas. I'm used to a Christmas in the beach with like crystal blue waters,
Mm,
white sand. You're in the water with like amazing pools and amazing resorts. That's what I'm used to during like Christmas
mm,
season. But now it's like, oh, white Christmas. And now that my family's here,
mm.
like would mostly just spend Christmas like catching up, maybe meeting with friends and families. I think Christmas has become honestly less. It used to be so like, oh, amazing and stuff for me as a
Exhilarating.
child, but now exhilarating. But now it's just like, oh, okay, I get to meet my family, which I still do other times of the year. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's become less exciting for me. I mean, my
Mm-hmm.
parents still go to church on Christmas Day. Um, and then what else happens? Oh, my parents also they try to reinstate this whole gift giving thing.
Mm,
Now, the thing about gift giving, I really loved it when I was a child because who doesn't love getting gifts from their parents? And
right.
obviously, as a child, you're not earning money, so you're excited for anything you can get.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as an adult, I don't necessarily like gift giving as much simply because I don't know what you like sometimes. And then also, you might not know exactly what I like. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm at a point in my life in which I'm heading more so towards minimalism and having
Mm-hmm.
things that I actually need and things that I want. So when people
Yep.
give you random gifts that you just don't want, you don't care about, in my head, I'm like, just give me the money instead and let me
Yeah.
buy what I want to buy.
I can relate.
Because
Yeah.
I don't want to. I just feel like it's a waste of my energy if you buy me a perfume that I don't like or like body wash that I don't like. Nowadays, I honestly do not like gift giving. Like,
Mm,
I think if you're going to give a gift, just give money and then let the person
mm.
decide what they want to do with that money.
Yeah. That's
Because
that. Yeah.
I think my taste has become really specific. And I don't, so I'd rather just buy stuff that I want and not
Mm-hmm.
have something that I don't want. So I tend to, I mean, a few times we had the gift giving, like over here for Christmas. But it's funny because I still have some of those gifts here unopened, untouched. Because a lot of them happen to be body wash, from Bed Bath and Beyond, and not Bed Bath and Beyond, Bath and Body Works.
But yes,
um,
I knew
I
where you're
think,
going with that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Things like that. And then I've just gotten a more, like, I prefer certain types of, like, body wash and things like that, that I don't want to use
Right.
that. So it's just kept in my drawer for, like, guests if they come. That's the
Mm-hmm.
one you used for, like, the guest bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I come over, I know I'm using a gift from 2019 that was, yeah, not opened. Got it. But at least I'll be very excited. Thank you so much. Um, but it's also this idea that the gift giving is coming from like it's a gesture, right? So if your sister
Mm-hmm.
is feels compelled to give you a gift and she's like, okay, what am I gonna get, what am I gonna get, and there's a sale in this Bath and Body Works, and it's like, well, you're a woman, you probably like a nice scent and you should take a shower. I hope you're taking a shower. And so it's that thing of like, okay, I'm just gonna buy this, and I've ticked a box. Um, and but I can relate to you about that because I'm also on that like minimalist journey. And this is why I think when it comes to the idea of in terms the idea of gift giving, I like experiences. So instead of,
Yes.
you know what I mean? Yeah, like instead of
Yeah,
buying
I
someone a
agree with that.
gift, yeah, like buy someone like a day at the spa, or something of that nature, or during the year, go out with them to the spa. So for me, I
Hmm.
think my whole body just doesn't really curve into the gift giving. I
Hmm.
so I'm not in the queue trying to shop for A, B, C, D and trying to give to my family. Like it will happen during the year. Like it happened this past May. So like it's not specifically have to
Yeah.
be in December to give a gift. Um and sometimes when
Hmm.
I'm shopping just on a regular, if I see something nice for a friend that I think they will like, I buy it right there and then and gift them right there and then. So yeah, and I know what you mean about the Christmas is not as exhilarating. Maybe it's also just because we're both grown up. So um yeah, there's I actually thought about it this year. I was like, should I buy a tree? And then in my head I was like, well, there's this nice restaurant I want to go to, a tree over, and this tree is only gonna last for like how many days in the month. Like it's only gonna be up for a month, and then the rest of the year it's gonna it's gonna be stored somewhere. So those are the things like
Sort of way.
I know, right? Like adulting has started to shape me differently in regards to celebrating these holidays the way like I was in as a child. um and
Hmm.
I'm just wondering, maybe it would take me having my own kids and my own family, like to get that child energy, like Christmas,
Right.
yay, you know?
Right.
um,
I agree because right now you don't have that, so you're just like, what's the point?
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie though, I have thought about getting a tree because I think I would enjoy it myself. But I'm also at that stage. I think I might get it for next year. But I'm
Mm,
also because I just want to have it decorated and just feel like the Christmassy season and stuff. But I'm
mm-hmm.
also at the point in which, right now I'm like, okay, do I need to spend my money on that? No, not exactly.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. And it's also a different atmosphere, as you said. It's colder. When we're celebrating
Hmm.
Christmas and it's cold, and so it means you're going to be indoors, as opposed to being outside. And you mentioned movies. um I I think when I think of Christmas, I think of Home Alone. And I think that started from
Oh,
very young age. So
Home Alone is one of them. I also think of Elf.
I don't think I've watched
I don't know
that
if you ever
one.
watched Elf.
No, I
Yeah,
don't
that's
think
another
I've
one I
watched
think
that
of.
one.
Um,
And
yeah, the Christmas movies.
I was going to say, no, did you believe, did you believe in that? Like I don't remember like my belief around the elves and like Santa and all of that. Did you believe in that?
Hmm. So it's hard to tell. I honestly don't remember what I believed in back then. I don't. I think at some point, like, 'cause, you think about Santa coming down the chimney, then their cookies and their cookies and milk waiting for Santa and stuff. Um, I don't know if I necessarily like maybe when I was really young I did, but then as I said, my parents will always tell us Jesus is the reason for the season.
Yeah.
And I remember that
Yes.
be, be, be,
Yes.
being told like very clearly. And so I guess like would enjoy the whole Santa Claus thing, but I wouldn't really actually think much about it. I enjoyed the whole concept of
Yes.
Santa Claus, but I never really thought about it deeply. And yes, I mean our house had a chimney, but I never thought about
Mm-hmm.
him coming down the chimney to do stuff. I really honestly don't remember. I mean, I don't remember much about what I thought about it, but I don't think it was really that important because my parents, their focus was on something else.
That's true.
So,
I, that is very true. I know we did
but I still
have,
enjoyed the whole concept.
yeah, the whole I guess I did. We had Father Christmas. We called Santa Claus Father Christmas. Um I
Yeah,
just
we did as
don't,
well.
right? I just don't remember what Father Christmas. No, I don't. Yeah, I don't remember if I was thinking like, "Oh yeah, he's going to bring me presents and I'm waiting for him to come." And in any case, I probably would have been thinking like, "Where is he going to come?" We didn't have a chimney in our house. So I was like, well, Santa, you better, I mean, Father Christmas, you have to knock at the door. We probably were not going to let you in because, it's way past our bedtime. And you know how, like, back home, you lock your doors and you have all these, like, burglar bars. Like, we call them burglar bars. And it's in such a way that you lock your doors in such a way that no one inside is going out and no one outside is coming.
He's coming in. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So Santa would have to come during business hours because I just don't know. So no, I didn't grow up. Yeah, like you, I think the focus was on the birth of Jesus. So I didn't really, there was in the movies there was like Santa or whatever, but I could not connect to those moments. It was just like, okay, guy in a red suit, and doing his thing, and then coming to give presents, I guess, to kids. And it was cold, and the movies, in a lot of these movies, it was cold and it was hot where we were. So it just there wasn't that connection. But I do think though, what will I be telling my kids about Santa, knowing what I know now and having had lived in Zambia and living in this part of the world. Like, am I going to embrace Santa? And if they ask me, like, Mommy, does Santa go to Zambia? Like, I don't know. What am I gonna, what am I gonna tell them? Is a question I have for myself.
I
um,
guess we'll see when we get there. That to that point, like what you're going to do.
yeah. I mean, this, maybe what I would do, like maybe the one tradition I could start with my kids would be tell them like, yes, Santa does, come to Zambia, but instead of like cookies and milk, it would be like vitumbua. I guess we can still give him milk. Um, but then the other thing I would also think about is like I would give Santa like a chitenge outfit. I'd be like, no, Santa, that red suit is too much. Like here in Africa, we do things a little bit different. We like blue, red, yellow, everything, and they're just like, like I don't know. Like I hope if there's somebody thinking about like maybe a cartoon African Santa character, it like should be a Santa in like a really bright African chitenge. um no, but those are just just thinking, putting it out there to all the producers, create the African Santa or the African Father Christmas, um or at least even a movie. Like imagine an African movie of Santa coming to Africa. Like
Mhm.
I think that would be amazing. No?
Mhm.
So you're like,
It'll be funny to see. I'm just curious to see. I'm just curious to see how they're gonna do it, but
just think about it. It would be so
that'll be fun to
fun.
see.
That would be so
But
fun.
one thing I also think about. when it comes to Christmas. I'm kind of getting to a season in which I want to spend Christmas in like traveling.
Mm.
Like, I mean, this year it's not happening, but next year Christmas I would like to travel. Like I love seeing my family and everything, and I'd probably see them beforehand. But I still want to be like maybe in, I don't know, the Bahamas, enjoying the beach, or
Mm.
I could decide to go to the Swiss Alps and do like a skiing Christmas. Go to Colorado. I kind of want to, because I love traveling. I think me
Mm.
also spending like traveling during this time period will also be fun because I kind of want to be in a different environment, new, beautiful, different environment that I enjoy, and have fun and just enjoy that.
Mm.
Yeah, because I think that ties into New Year. Because I guess we're 1 hour in, so we have to talk about New Year traditions.
Oh.
Because New Year, I mean, New Year's is not as much as Christmas. I think Christmas was a bigger deal than New Year's for
Mm.
us in general. Uh, but New Year's, I remember every single New Year, we would go for an overnight kesha at church. Like, would usher in the year for doing an overnight kesha in church. So you go in at like 7 p.m. Then you know what, 11:59, you're doing the countdown with everyone else in church. Then you welcome in the new year. Then you
Oh.
celebrate, sing and dance to the songs. And then usually because we were kids, my parents would leave like maybe at 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. so that we can go to sleep. There are some people who
Mm.
would stay there the whole entire night until the morning. But I
Whoa.
don't think we ever stayed there because we were kids. My parents were like, oh, let's get them home to sleep.
Mhm.
But that was always what we did on overnight. Like that's always what we did every welcoming in the new year. That was like a
Mm.
tradition.
Yeah.
Now that where my parents are in the States, we don't do that any longer. People generally just it's become so anticlimactic. Like people just stay at home. Um,
Yeah.
Actually, it's funny because I'd be the one on the TV watching like the ball drop or fireworks go off in different places, and
Mhm.
my parents are just like sleeping. Like people are
Mm.
sleeping. My whole entire family, people are sleeping into the new year. So I think that brings into focus what would my ideal New Year's look like?
Mm.
And for me, it would be something dramatic, fun, with fireworks and everything. Again, the traveling piece comes into play again. I would not mind also being out of the country. Like this, we were trying to go on a trip this year. It didn't work
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Maybe next year we can
Maybe next
try
year.
like
Yep.
Dubai, Qatar, because
Yeah.
those places have amazing fireworks.
Mhm.
And it's like I want to be in like a beautiful place, different part of the world with amazing fireworks, amazing views, amazing food. That's how I've always wanted to spend my New Year's. Because I
Yeah.
remember some of my friends also would either go for to the resorts in New Year's, or some of them would stay Christmas through New Year's because it's kind of like just what 5 6 days apart,
Mhm.
um, or like a week apart. And I always wanted to usher in New Year's in such a way. And I
Mhm.
just, that's always how I wanted to be. Because I always felt like, okay, fine, going to church, cash out. It was fun, but it was not my ideal way. I get to see some of my friends, but it wasn't my ideal way. I think my funnest New Year that I've had so far was this year, welcoming in the New Year. This year we
Mm.
were in Puerto Rico. Um,
Oh.
I was in Puerto Rico and it was so much fun. We dressed up. There's the fireworks and um, you go, you're dancing to Hispanic music.
Mm.
It was fun. Like I really
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
That sounds
So that's the kind
fun.
of New Year that
Yeah.
I like.
That
I don't want to be
sounds
sleeping through, um,
No, no,
like a New
no. That
Year.
makes sense.
And
What's
I'm
that?
kind of sad because this year, I mean, I can still celebrate New Year this year, but I'm working on 7 a.m. in the morning, so I don't really know what I'm going to do. I'm like, this is so annoying.
Mm.
But anyways,
I see. No, that makes so much sense. As you were saying, like being in a new city, fireworks, dressed up. That sounds amazing. Would you be willing to do the New York ball drop? It looks like people line up, or is it days before? Like I'm not sure how it works, but it
So
looks like you
yeah, it's
have.
usually like a whole 24 hours at least before.
Mm.
So I've lived in New York City. I never did the bull drop because I was like, there's no way I'm standing in that cold for like 24 hours to get a good view of this. Like I was like, there's no way. Now there are different hacks and ways you can do it. If you can find a restaurant that's like in the surrounding area, like
Mhm.
that's like on one of the top floors that has a view of the ball drop,
Mhm.
or um, if there's like a bar or area around there, so you can actually see the ball drop from there. So you don't actually have to be down there, but you're seeing the surrounding. Again, this is where it becomes to working smarter. Those
Mhm.
are things you can do. Um, because I think
Yeah.
it'd still be fun, but like, no, I never did that because people like that was too much stress. I want to enjoy
Yeah,
the New Year's. I don't want to
the new year.
spend it 24 hours in the cold. Like, no,
Exactly.
just to get a good
Exactly.
spot. No.
This is reminding me of the episode we did on the food without borders. Um because um we were talking about how there's so many options for food that even when I think of like the New Year celebrations, as you're
Hmm.
saying, you don't have to be waiting in line 24 hours when you could be in another beautiful city with a beautiful skyline, with good food, great atmosphere, great energy.
Hmm.
And it just requires you like traveling to that place, right? And you won't get that congestion um, that you might experience where everyone thinks, oh, you have to be in New York, to celebrate uh, the new year.
Exactly.
I like that. I really like that. Um, for me, the new year, I
What did
grew
you
up
do
with.
for New Year's?
Yeah, no, I did. I did. Growing up, I did fireworks. So it- we did not go to church. I don't remember going to church. Um, but I remember waiting for fireworks at home. But just staying up all the way up until midnight just to wait, just to ring in the new year. And then I think as the
Hmm.
world became more connected, you could see like if you tuned into, I think it was CNN or Sky News, you could they would report that um New York has is because we were ahead in time, so you would hear that New York has entered the new year.
Right.
um, or was it? Sorry, was it? No, sorry, not New York. Sorry. That is actually the other way around. Like
New York
China,
was
for example.
later.
Yeah, New York
Probably
was late. I was
somewhere in
like,
like Australia, China.
exactly,
Hmm.
E- exactly. So we would
Yeah.
hear that that part of the world has clocked into the new year, and then we'd just be so excited about it. And then for us, it would be like we would be waiting, like, oh, we have 3 more hours, we have 4 more hours, whatever, and we're just hanging around like we're just awake. And I think everyone is awake in our neighborhood, just waiting. And then once it clocked midnight, there would be fireworks. I don't even know who would sponsor the fireworks, but there would be fireworks, and we just come outside of the house and just watch the fireworks in our pajamas. Fun times. And then yeah, just watch the
Oh.
fireworks. And for me, the bigger the fireworks, I was just super excited. Like just the loudness, and just yeah, it was, and the bright colors. Um, yeah, that was super fun. And yes, when I did move across to the US, it was, I don't remember if I went to a specific event for New Year. But again, it was the
Hmm.
watching of the ball drop, waiting for New York, for that ball to drop. And I always remember that Hawaii
Hmm.
was the last to get into the New Year, and I was like, no, I'm going to bed. After I'm in Hawaii, good luck. So it was like, because they were so behind in time that I was like, no, I'm not gonna wait for Hawaii to get in.
Right.
But and I don't know, and now I haven't actually thought about it as the way you have thought about like how you'd want to spend your New Year. But it does make sense to like be. But I think let me put it this way. I think with New Year, I would love it to be with good people, like a good good energy. So it has to be with good people, maybe friends,
Mm-hmm.
family if they have the energy, like just a good time to like not really think too much about like the entire year, but just to like just celebrate, like just have the right energy, the extrovert. So like have all the extroverts around and then have a good time. That sounds great. That does sound great. No, it does.
No,
But yeah.
this was such a nostalgic episode. Like it just got me thinking about all my childhood memories, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, no, it does. And I think it's also a time, like I said, to reflect on how we spent our childhood and now we are adults and how we plan to continue spending it and maybe even sharing those traditions with our own families. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I like that. I really like that. So, well, it's been fun and time is up. But we would love to continue this conversation when you guys tell us how you celebrate your Christmas and your New Year. What are the traditions that you have? Please
Mm-hmm.
feel free to share with us at the feminine outliers at gmail.com. And also, don't forget, what are you unlearning? We would love to also learn what you are unlearning. And I hope these unlearning
Mm-hmm.
segments are serving you in some way and making you think about how your transformation journeys are going. And then don't forget, we are on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and
Mm-hmm.
Apple Podcasts, right, Zell?
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Okay. So you can catch us.
All the major podcasts places. I don't know what they're
Oh,
called. Sites.
you can find us anywhere. Just look for us. And please leave a comment, like and follow us so that you get an update on the new episodes that are coming out. We love you guys for listening to us, and I
Mm-hmm.
hope these episodes are serving you. So until next time, don't be afraid to be an outlier. Did I say that right? No, I did not complete that.
Have
Okay.
fun. Live
fun.
large.
Live
and
large.
don't be afraid to be an outlier.
And don't be afraid to be an outlier. Thanks, Zell. We love you guys. See you in the next episode.